There is one truth about our body that people realize too late. The heart can beat steadily for years, but one day it starts sending alarming signals, and we wonder why this is happening to us. The reason is usually the same. The vessels are tired, clogged, lost their elasticity, and have become fragile, making every movement, every walk, and every emotion a true trial. I am a doctor with over 30 years of experience. I have seen people transform, change their habits, and regain their youth. But I also saw the other side. When a person ignored simple recommendations, their life turned into endless trips to doctors, pill taking, and restrictions. Believe me, it's hard to look into the eyes of those who say, "Doctor, why didn't I know this before?" That's why I decided to record this conversation, so you know what really works. Now I will tell you about something that many underestimate, and at the end of this video, I will reveal the most important and simple thing that can radically change your life. I usually share this information only with my closest patients, as it helps the heart function like clockwork. Why is the theme of vessels so relevant in adulthood? The fact is that the body can forgive a lot until the age of 40. We can afford poor nutrition, lack of sleep, and worries, and it seems that all these transgressions go unpunished. But after 50 years, everything changes. Every mistake in the diet, every sleepless night, every strain leaves its mark. Containers are like pipes in a house. As long as they are clean, water flows freely. But once they get clogged, the problem begins to grow. I will tell a story that struck me. One day, a woman came to me. She was 68 years old. She complained of constant dizziness, ringing in her ears, and weakness, already preparing for serious diagnoses and heavy medications. But we started with something simple: a bowl of porridge. She couldn't believe that some porridge could help her vessels. However, a month later, she came to me and said, as if the fog has lifted, "I feel alive again." This is what simple food can do if you know which one to choose. I beg you, do not ignore this. We tend to think that everything is complex, but in medicine, it is often the simple solutions that are the most effective. After all, the heart and vessels are not an abstraction. They are our life, our energy, our memory, our emotions. And now, I will ask you a question. Do you allow yourself to enjoy life as you did in your youth? Or have fatigue, shortness of breath, and heaviness in your chest become your constant companions? Think about it. For the joy of simple things, walks, conversations, the smiles of grandchildren, directly depends on the state of your heart. And at the end of this conversation, I will reveal a secret. This is not an advertisement for some miraculous remedy, but knowledge tested by time and practice. I share it only with those who are ready to listen until the end, as it may become your protection against heart and vascular diseases. So don't leave. Believe me, this can change your life. As we age, our perception of life changes. With age, we gain wisdom and tranquility and begin to appreciate things that were not so important to us before. However, our bodies also change over the years. If in youth the heart can cope with sleepless nights, heavy burdens, and worries, then after 50 or 60 years, even minor stresses begin to affect the vessels. I often tell my patients that blood vessels can be imagined as roads along which our life flows. Blood, like transport, carries oxygen, nutrients, and energy. But when the roads are clogged, movement stops. The same happens with vessels. Over time, cholesterol and plaques accumulate on their walls, slowing blood flow. This process doesn't happen in a day. It's the result of many years of habits, diet, and stress. Do you know what's surprising? A person often doesn't notice the problem for a long time. Vessels can endure. They narrow and find detours, while the heart begins to work in overdrive. Only when it becomes really difficult do symptoms like shortness of breath, dizziness, memory lapses, and ringing in the ears arise. All these are signals that the roads need repair. In my experience, psychology and a person's physical state are closely linked. When a person lives in constant stress, their vessels constrict. When they are hurt or anxious, blood pressure rises, and when they rush and eat on the go, the blood becomes thicker. In mature age, this is particularly dangerous, as the body is no longer as flexible as at 30, and every mistake is magnified. I strongly urge you not to ignore these signs. How many times have I witnessed the same scene? A man works his whole life, saving his strength for later, only to find that when the time comes to enjoy life, his health has already failed him. This is all because he did not think about the state of his vessels in advance. Let me give an example. I had a patient, a 70-year-old man, who had spent his entire life in business, always in a hurry and living in constant tension. His diet consisted of fast and heavy food, and he never took time for porridge, saying it was not for him. But when he grew old, he came to me with complaints of headaches, forgetfulness, and heart problems. Tests showed that the vessels in his brain and heart resembled old rusty pipes, and for the first time he wondered why he hadn't taken care of his health earlier. But even at that age, simple steps yielded results. A few changes in diet, including the very porridge I will describe later, helped him feel significant relief. Why is nutrition so important? Because vessels are formed from what we eat. If our diet is high in fats, sugar, and salt, our vessels become brittle and blood thickens. But if we choose simple, natural foods rich in fiber, the vessels experience a cleansing effect, becoming more elastic, and the heart begins to work more easily. That is why I always say that the wisdom of maturity lies in the ability to let go of stress and hustle, replacing them with conscious choices. Nutrition is not a punishment, but a tool that can grant additional years of life. Now I will smoothly transition to the next topic. With the years comes wisdom, but it can be enhanced by the right perception of life and simple habits. In the next part, I will share the first specific recommendation that contributes to cleansing the vessels and the normal functioning of the heart. This is a simple recipe, and its ingredients are accessible to everyone. The most important thing is that you can try this tomorrow and feel the results. So the first recommendation for vascular health and easing heart work is to add oatmeal to your diet. Yes, oatmeal, which many have underestimated. Now I will talk about what is often ignored. I assure you, this simple habit can significantly change the quality of your life. Why oatmeal? It is rich in soluble fiber, which acts like a gentle brush for the vessels. This fiber binds excess cholesterol in the intestines and removes it from the body. Imagine that every day you help your vessels cleanse from within. In my experience, people who start eating oatmeal at least every other day notice changes within a few weeks. The pressure normalizes, the head becomes clearer, energy appears in the mornings. This is not a miracle, it is physiology. Clean vessels ensure free blood flow, which means oxygen in the brain, strength in the heart, and lightness in the body. Let me tell the story of one patient so you can understand this better. A 74-year-old man approached me with complaints of weakness, headaches, and fluctuating blood pressure. He had already taken medication, but the improvements were minimal. I suggested a simple solution: to start each day with oatmeal. At first he smiled and said, "Doctor, are you joking? Porridge for vascular problems?" But 2 weeks later he admitted, "I find it easier to get up, my head no longer buzzes, and my mood has improved." It is important to note that oatmeal should not be sweet, not instant, but real, cooked in water or milk without sugar, with the addition of berries, nuts, or honey. Such porridge positively affects the vessels. Try cooking a bowl of oatmeal for breakfast tomorrow, adding a handful of berries or a piece of apple. Enjoy it slowly, with a cup of warm tea. It won't take much time, but it will be a small gift for your vessels. Try it for at least a week, and you will feel the difference. I strongly urge you not to postpone. Every day you choose heavy, fatty food over light and healthy options, your vessels suffer. And every day with oatmeal is a step towards clean arteries and a healthy heart. And one more important point. When you eat oatmeal in the morning, you set the right nutrition mode for the entire day. Blood sugar levels stabilize, and you crave sweets and unhealthy foods less often, leading to weight loss and reduced strain on the heart. And now pay attention. In the next recommendation, I will talk about what helps not only the soul, but also slows brain aging. This is not just about blood vessels, but also about clarity of thoughts, memory, and concentration. What many begin to lose after 60 can not only be preserved, but also improved. If oatmeal helps cleanse the vessels and ease the heart's work, the second recommendation concerns what helps keep the brain active and slows its aging. These are regular walks in the fresh air at a moderate pace. Now I will share what is often underestimated. People believe that intense workouts, gyms, and significant physical exertion are necessary for maintaining health. But this is a misconception. For middle-aged people, regularity and gentleness are much more important. 30 to 40 minutes of leisurely walking outside brings more benefits than an hour of intense exercise. Why is this so critical? During walking, your muscles work evenly, the heart steadily pumps blood, vessels expand, and blood becomes oxygenated. The brain receives necessary nourishment, cells renew, and memory improves. This natural process allows the body to function as a whole. I often say that movement is a medicine that cannot be bought at a pharmacy and is completely free. From my experience, people who walk daily live longer and feel happier. They have fewer strokes and heart attacks, better sleep, and improved mood. I remember a woman who was 76 years old. She came to me with complaints of forgetfulness and headaches. We changed her diet and added the habit of walking after dinner. At first, she walked for 15 minutes, then 20, and then 30. 2 months later, she said, "Doctor, I feel like my mind has become clearer." I hear such words dozens of times. Scientific studies confirm this. Scientists have proven that regular walking significantly reduces the risk of Alzheimer's disease and improves heart and lung function. For the vessels, this is a real workout. With every step, blood circulates throughout the body, and most importantly, it's accessible to everyone. No need to buy memberships or complicated equipment. Just step outside and take a walk. Make walking your ritual. You can play calm music or simply enjoy the silence. Remember, it's better to move slowly but every day than to rush once a month. Try setting a goal for yourself, 3,000 steps a day. It's not much, about 20 to 30 minutes of walking. Start with this, and within a week you will feel your breathing become steadier, your mood improve, and your sleep become calmer. From my experience, people who maintain the habit of daily walks, even at 80, feel invigorated. And the most amazing thing is, they say life is regaining its flavor. But there is another aspect that people often underestimate, and it can seriously undermine health if ignored. I will tell you about this in the third piece of advice. This will not only be a recommendation but also a warning, without which all efforts may be in vain. Now I will tell you about something that many overlook, even if you eat oatmeal in the mornings and walk every day. It is about salt and hidden salt in foods. The third recommendation is to monitor salt consumption in the diet. Please do not neglect this advice. Salt may seem harmless, a pinch in soup, a bit in salad, a piece of cheese or sausage. But in reality, it is the main enemy for blood vessels. Salt retains water, raises blood pressure, and overloads the heart, making blood vessels less elastic. Moreover, it often hides in products. Even if you don't add salt to dishes, you still get it from bread, canned goods, cheese, and sauces. In my experience, those who reduce their salt intake by at least half start to feel changes within a few weeks. The swelling subsides, blood pressure stabilizes, and the heart works more calmly. Let me tell a story. A 66-year-old man who had loved salty food all his life. Herring, sausages, and pickles. He was convinced that food has no flavor without salt. As a result, he developed high blood pressure, heart failure, and took handfuls of pills. When I convinced him to try reducing salt, he was surprised. "Doctor, will this help?" he asked. A month later, he came and said, "For the first time in many years, I wake up without heaviness in my head." This is what it means to give the vessels a rest. This can be simply explained. Salt makes the blood thicker and more viscous, as if a too thick liquid enters the pipes. The vessels are working at their limit, and the heart is under strain. If the situation does not change, the risk of stroke or heart attack increases several times. Therefore, the third recommendation is reduce salt and avoid products where it is hidden. How to do this? Don't automatically add salt. First, taste the product itself and remove the salt shaker from the table. It's a small thing, but it really helps. Read the labels. Many sauces, bread, and sausages contain excess salt. Replace salt with herbs and spices. Dill, parsley, basil, turmeric. They will enhance the flavor of dishes and be beneficial for the vessels. Here is an emotional warning. This slowly and imperceptibly destroys health. Pressure does not increase in a day. It happens gradually, and many think that an extra pinch won't hurt. But this habit gradually undermines the vessels, so I urge you to start right now. Surprisingly, when a person stops eating too much salt, the taste of food changes. Apples become sweeter, vegetables more vibrant, and bread more aromatic. The body seems to return to its natural perception. And here are 3 simple steps that connect everything. Morning oatmeal for cleansing the vessels, a daily walk for the heart and brain, salt control for protection against high blood pressure, and heart overload. These 3 steps will allow your vascular system to function freely and your brain and heart to feel young. And now, the most important part. I promise to share what I usually tell only my closest patients. The time has come. In conclusion, I will reveal to you a bonus secret, a small but very powerful ritual that will help your vessels and heart function like clockwork even in old age. We have gone through 3 simple but very important steps. Let me remind you again. Oatmeal in the mornings is a natural brush for the vessels that removes excess cholesterol and eases the heart's work. Walks in the fresh air and natural exercises for the vessels and brain help slow down the aging process and restore clarity of thought. Monitoring salt intake protects against high blood pressure, swelling, and heart overload. These are not pills or miraculous remedies, but simple habits accessible to everyone. It is they who form a system that can grant additional years of life, not just existence, but a life filled with joy, energy, and lightness. Now I will tell you about a small bonus ritual that I recommend to my patients. He is so simple that many smile at first, yet it is precisely he who ensures that the vessels and heart work like clockwork. It is about breathing. Yes, just breathing. Every day, in the morning or evening, find 3 to 4 minutes to sit quietly and dedicate this time to breathing exercises. Inhale slowly through the nose for a count of 4, hold the breath for a count of 2, and then exhale smoothly through the mouth for 6 to 7 counts. Repeat this cycle 10 times. What happens at that moment? The vessels relax, the heart begins to beat more steadily, the pressure decreases, the blood becomes oxygenated, and the body receives a signal of tranquility. This is the key to a long and healthy life. In my experience, people who adopt this habit note that their sleep becomes deeper, their mood more stable, and their anxieties fade away. Just a few minutes a day, and you give your heart the necessary rest. In addition, I want to suggest a few simple habits that greatly support this theme. Every day, thank life for at least one small thing. It strengthens mental health. Smile more often, as a smile relaxes the vessels just as well as a walk. Drink clean water. It thins the blood and eases the heart's work. Communication with loved ones. The warmth of human interaction extends life just as well as medications. Allow yourself small joys. A book, music, a delicious fruit. This is also a kind of medicine, but for the soul. Take care of yourself. Your time is precious at any age. Remember, even small steps can change your life for the better, and I urge you not to postpone. Start tomorrow. Oatmeal for breakfast, an evening walk, a little less salt, and 3 minutes of breathing exercises. Try it for at least a week, and you will feel the difference. Write which of these tips resonates with you and what you will try first. And please share this information with your loved ones and friends so they can also receive such support. Subscribe to not miss new conversations about heart health, vessels, and harmony in mature age. Your heart deserves calm and rhythmic work like a clock, and you deserve a life filled with ease and happiness.